button. That's what she said. I mean, that just writes itself
Hey,
there.
Or how the commercial said, you want to hold it?
Well, I want to hold it, but I'm not going to beg for
You're
it.
not going to beg for
hey,
it.
forgetting to push the button's my gangster name, just so you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay. All
And
right.
again, that's what she said. That's
You
what
open that one.
she said.
Okay. All right. I
All right,
love
the
it.
Giants. Let's see. We almost got
Oh,
3
my
o'clock.
God.
Okay, Giants. Let's see. They have a bye: Tampa Bay, Dallas, New Orleans, Baltimore, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Philadelphia. They might beat the Colts. We'll see.
And
All
that's
right.
the Giants. And they got 2 wins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's us, New England, Jacksonville, Cleveland. That's about it.
Yeah.
All
So
right, I got 3 o'clock. Let's roll this thing, and then we'll get into the all the
again, let's
craziness.
roll this thing. That's what she said.
Yeah.
That's my other gangster name.
Roll that.
That's not it.
It was going so well too.
Sweet. Yeah.
No, right? I was like, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Oh,
Yeah, man.
Game day, baby! Let's go!
welcome everyone to NFL Nation Live, our Week 11 show. We have turned the corner. We're headed towards the playoffs. We got a bunch of teams on the clock. We got a few more that might be on the clock. Week 10 was a little bit crazy. I mean, the Thursday night. I mean, if you watch that Cincinnati at Baltimore, man, you got your money's worth. But there's a couple things, man. There's officiating in that game, and we got John Hussey's crew this week. Oh, God.
Oh, we got Hussey.
Yes.
Oh,
And you know who comes, and you know who comes with him, right?
Yes.
Mahalik, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm not going to Miami. I'm glad I'm not going to Miami because that and people were saying it's like you come in. I'm like, no, it's 10 hours of driving, 5 and 5. It's whatever the tickets are. And I love my buddies in South Florida. I could stay at Jerry's house for nothing. So I would have saved there, but still it's the time, it's the game, it's the fans, I won't say, but they're not the nicest.
Well, it's also harder to throw snowballs in Miami, right?
Yeah, well, but that's it. And the only good thing for the folks that are coming down for Raiders is that it is the end of October-ish.
Yeah,
It's
not quite so hot.
It's not as hot.
All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about, obviously, this week. But before we get to all the craziness, V, welcome to the show. What are your quick first thoughts, my friend?
What's up, gentlemen? Quick first thoughts are what surprises lie ahead for us in this second half of the season?
Probably a second helping of what happened in the first half. But anyway.
Well,
all right, I'm
enough
ready.
of that dish.
I know Cap's liquored up, ready to go. V, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm clocked in. Let's hit it.
But we got that intro right. Welcome, everyone, to Week 11. I am Ref Guru, along with the Hall of Famer, Wayne Violator Mabry, and the legendary pirate, Captain Jack. Welcome back, everybody. We'll get the chat open here in just a second. But we got to close the books on Week 10, and it was a little bit weird out there, not the least of which was Thursday night when Cincinnati Bengals went into Baltimore, almost beat the Ravens. Two things happened there. The refs jobbed them out of an extra point, but man, they went for two on the road against a division team instead of kicking the field goal and hoping for a tie in overtime. What do you guys take on that now that the Ravens have got the Steelers looking over their shoulder now?
Well, first of all, that Ravens team has a balanced attack, so they can punch you with either fist.
That's true.
So that's what I'm looking at the whole game.
Yeah.
It was a physical it was real football. Put it,
It
that way.
was, and
Plain
we
and
expected
simple.
that.
It was
Yep.
some real football. But like I say, now some stripes came in there and had some banana peels, kind of like the color of that flag right there over my shoulder. That they slid in there. And I was telling my wife that was the home field calls right there. And that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, that was definitely we should call them the Chiquita crew, right?
The Chiquitas, the
yeah.
Chiquitas.
Who was the ref for that game, by the way?
thought it was
Cincinnati
Hussey.
at huh?
I thought it was
That was
Hussey.
Clete Blakeman.
Blakeman's crew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the
Okay.
Buffalo Bills were wanking this week that they've got Land Clark's crew. That's going to be interesting. There's some crazy matchups this week, not only on the board, but also from the officiating standpoint. Anyway, that said, let me open up the chat here because I think we got folks coming in there.
I see
Let me put it out there.
Cool Kev.
Yeah, who we got? Okay,
What's
hey
up?
Kev,
What's up,
Ed's
guys?
out there. Pierce makes a move that really does make things like he's gone to Minshew. Yeah, well, Minshew. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Welcome to everybody. Anthony, welcome. Ed, Kev's here. The host is here. A couple Twinkies. All right. New York went into Carolina. Actually, this is in Germany, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure where New York or Carolina went, but it wasn't really a very good game till the end, and the Giants caught up with them. But, man, they gave it away at the end. There was a lot of games this week, folks, where your field goal kicker either won it or lost it for you in a couple of games. But, man, I'll tell you what, the Panthers did us a favor by beating the Giants in Germany.
Yes, they did.
Say that 3 times really fast. Beat the Giants
Yeah.
in Germany. Okay, go ahead.
Beat the Giants in Germany. Beat Giants in Germany. Beat Giants in Germany.
Yeah,
You win the prize, whatever that is.
I got you. Yeah, it was
NFL Nation Live mug.
Oh, there you go.
that's
Yours.
it, baby. That's it.
If you get in touch with here, there's a close up. Wait, there you go.
Mhm.
NFL Nation Live. Make sure you
That's
get
it.
yours, okay? And hey, he doesn't even have to pay me to shill the stuff, man. I do it on cue, baby. And when you're done with your NFL Nation Live mug,
You know what?
can celebrate with a
Hey, Cap.
V57 friggin' cigar.
Yeah.
Right
hey,
here. I'm
Hey,
going to
Cap.
shut up now.
Oh, thank you. I think we actually have a surprise special guest.
Yes, hopefully.
Oh, here we go.
Hopefully.
No.
Bam! Yeah. What's up? What's up?
What's up, my favorite Raiders people?
thanks
Hey,
for
glad
joining
to
us.
see you. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining
great to
us.
have you. You know, we're gonna talk about everything that you're doing. Give us a chance here to get through a couple games, but Ref Guru welcomes you along with the legendary Pirate Captain Jack, and then you may know the Hall of Famer number 57. Thanks
You
for joining
already
us,
know.
by the
You
way.
already know.
Oh, my pleasure. I have love for these guys, so thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you here. You know, we were going through last week's schedule to kind of clean things up. If you let us get through that, then you're welcome to chime in on any comment games that you have. And then before we start talking about week 11, which includes, of course, the Raiders in Miami to take on the Dolphins, we want to hear about you, what you're doing, how you became an elite fan and all that stuff. So bear with us for a quick second here while we get through week 10. We got folks out there just dying to know what happened to the Chicago Bears. The Patriots went in there and gave them a thumping. You know, this is a Bears team that we've been wondering about for a while. I don't think we're wondering about them anymore. The thing that bothered me was that they couldn't win really a game at home that they should have won. And now the Patriots are breathing down the Raiders' neck for a draft spot.
Yeah, let them keep breathing. But what happened?
There you go. Look at that. 2022 Fan of the Year. Oh, that's epic. I love that logo. Wow. That is terrific.
Yeah.
That is
Thank
awesome.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved, I'm sure.
Thank you. It
Yes.
was a huge honor, just something I'm never, ever going to forget. So,
Well, I
thank
don't
you very
doubt
much.
that. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to hearing all about it here in just a
Yeah.
couple minutes. But
I'm the prop king, baby. I got it all.
He's
I
got
get
all
it
the
right
stuff.
never mind. It's not NFL Nation Live After Dark, so I'll save that
there.
comment.
Not yet,
Uh,
but I have
but-
asked about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're thinking about that. That would be a good one.
Allie, you're invited too, but I don't know how much We'll talk later.
how freaky we actually
She's
want
got
to
that
get.
How
covered.
freaky is still
Yeah,
freaky?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's got that
We're gonna have to
covered.
find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we probably could. But anyhow, V, you were saying something about the Bears getting their ass handed to them at home.
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way. And I guess today or yesterday they fired their OC. So
Again.
now they're on a track record here with.
Hey,
with
the
offensive
Raiders might be
coordinators.
looking for an OC. No,
I
I'm
don't
kidding.
think so.
No!
I don't think so. I don't think.
Oh,
so.
you don't want to go 0 for 2 Bears OCs? Come
We've
on.
done
No.
enough retreads. We've done
No.
enough retreads.
No, we don't do good with Broncos DCs as head coaches, and we don't do good with Bears OCs as OCs. Just saying.
Close the book on that.
Yeah, nothing
Close
gets
the
past
book.
you, Cap. That's for damn sure. All right, Buffalo went into Indianapolis and for the first time since, I don't know, 1988 or whatever, beat the Colts. You know, the Colts scramble around like there's a giant fire drill. They get all liquored up, score a few points. You think they're going to win it, and then they crap out in the end. They're going to go back to Andrew Richardson, I guess, this week because I guess Joe Flacco has a flat tire or something. But, you know, this is a Colts team. It's been on and off the playoff fence for a while. You know, they're going to and find out, I think, that they're not going to make the playoffs if they keep this up. But you got to appreciate a Bills team that was clearly focused on this week's game against Kansas City. They went into Indianapolis and took care and beat them by 10 points.
Definitely. That was like a warm-up. And like I said, they came to take care of business.
They got their
The
wings
Colts,
to go.
the Colts played great with them for a while, but then
For a
they
while.
became one-dimensional.
That's it.
And-
Exactly. As soon as they got the lead and Taylor was out of the game from a rushing
Yes.
standpoint, it was over, right?
Yes. It was one-dimensional, and
Yep.
Flacco could not get away from that rush that they unleashed on him.
Which all of a sudden appeared out of freaking nowhere. I don't know if the Colts offensive line is bad or the Bills just decided to show up, but they teed off a lot. But I'll tell you what, this game was in doubt because it looked like for a while the Bills weren't really going to be able to stop Taylor, and as soon as they
Yes.
got the lead, then the running game was effectively over, and the Colts didn't have enough to fix it up. What you got, Cap?
I'm just saying, as you stated, if you make a team one-dimensional, which, oh, by the way, this team kind of is, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, well, that's coming later.
That'd be a great segue as it was.
Yeah, I
Because
appreciate that. That's what I try to do on this
Hey,
show. is, you know,
I try to tee him up as well. But
Yeah, but-
when Taylor's gone and you have 40 Flacco back there, great guy. But like you said, he's not what he was.
no.
And you're going to tee off on him. And I was watching some of that game. It was painful.
Yeah.
Painful, yes. Yes.
And to Daniel's question, yes, I did feed the cats.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we often, just for those that are new, we often
Rally,
sometimes
too.
have a visitor that shows up because she's either hungry or wants to go outside. In this case, it'll be because she wants to go outside. Minnesota went into Jacksonville. This is a game I can't believe I paid Sunday ticket for. It wasn't even worth watching from that standpoint. The deal here is the Vikings got the win. We didn't get any help from Jacksonville. We were hoping to get a win from them. We hope we get one somewhere. It might even be against us in a couple weeks. But
And I told you that.
yeah, you did. The purple in the green room, you did. You most certainly did. In this case, the new Purple People Peeps got the win, yo.
That's it. And they keep marching on.
And that's a really good point because they're really only technically half a game behind Detroit, right?
Absolutely.
Detroit, even though I don't got my hat done. Detroit, damn it.
Yeah.
They're Leons.
The Le-
Leons.
You'll see, Allie.
Yeah,
You'll
don't
see.
forget, you have to get used to the culture on this show. We have some craziness, but
Oh, I'm
Um,
definitely getting a feel for it right now, and I love it.
yeah, well, you wait till the second half of the show. But Cap has these personas that he comes back with. They're actually kind of funny, but I usually get the pickings because you know I'm the zebra on the show. And for all practical purposes, I was an NFL official, so we do talk about officiating this one. And we talked about Cincinnati getting jobbed at Baltimore, but that was before they. All right, Atlanta winning. Oh wait,
That was a makeup job.
It was.
from the playoff.
oh,
game.
they don't have those. They don't have
They
makeup
don't?
calls.
Okay.
They absolutely don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you're so full of shit. That's why your eyes
okay.
are brown.
Yeah,
Mm.
if you watch this show, you know that. Denver went into Kansas City, almost beat the Chiefs. This was a dandy to watch if you were.
I told you they
rooting-
were going to beat them.
if
I
you were-
told
you
they
know
were
what?
gonna beat 'em.
We said on this show that this was a trap game for the Chiefs. It almost was, but you know what? The blocked field goal kind of saved them, didn't it?
Only thing.
It was way before that block. Field goal. Hold
I
up,
agree with
hold
you on
up.
that front.
Bag it up a few reels. You
Yeah.
know, when you've got Mahomes, I'll just keep it clean today because
Yeah.
Allie's here.
Yeah.
When you've got this guy,
You don't have to keep it clean because of me.
when you've got this guy and his theatrics, and I almost busted my TV screen watching
Yeah.
this crap.
I know.
It's almost like theater, and everybody knows how the last scene goes. You know,
Yeah.
that block actually saved the ridicule from the stripes on the field.
Well, that's true.
that
that's
crew was just like I say, they should be put on suspension.
Well, you know, I don't disagree with you on that front. But we told you last week on this show that Kansas City was going to get a game from Denver. Denver gave them all they wanted to. And I'll tell you what, that rematch at Mile High is going to be something. And I believe
picked them. They
Cap
should've
was
won.
probably in on that too. Go ahead.
No, you guys said that Kansas City was going to win, which ultimately
I did?
happened. Yes, you did.
I did, really?
I was the
No.
only one that
But
said
we
that,
weren't pulling
no,
for
Well,
them.
I blew
oh,
that
no,
call.
We got tape on that. I said I'm the only one that said that Denver was going to win, and they should have won.
Well, they should have won. Well, you know what? The rematch will be fun to watch. Because that may be where this game with Buffalo becomes a factor, because the Chiefs are undefeated, but the Bills only lost 2 games. So the Bills win the head-to-head this week. Chiefs dropped one. And I'll tell you what, that's going to get really interesting. What's also getting interesting is the NFC South, where Atlanta, with a chance to pretty much put the nail in the coffin for everybody there, went into New Orleans and crapped the dirty bird all over the Saints, but they didn't get the win. Another field goal kicker that can't manage to find the uprights, but you gotta appreciate the fact that the Saints showed up after getting their head coach fired to beat a division team at home, and now the NFC South is another big quagmire.
Yes, but it keeps it interesting, and I think most of the kickers,
Yeah.
most of the kickers' accuracy must be to hit the uprights.
Yeah, it's not cool when you're
Yeah.
the Falcons kicker.
Yeah,
It ain't cool.
ain't cool. Yeah,
Ain't cool, baby.
yeah.
Ain't
Yeah.
cool. Look it up.
There were a couple kicks this week that Sam Farmer Friendly Times said if there had been another coat of yellow paint on the cross on the upright,
Yes.
my ball might not have gone through there.
True.
Desert Raider, worst 9-0 team in NFL history.
And that's true too.
I would agree with you on that front. They're probably a cheaper 9-0 than Pittsburgh is at 7-2, but I think we should be get off of the Steelers' shoulder for now. They went into Washington and beat the Commodores. But
No
in
Hail
case-
Marys in that one.
you know what? The Steelers are going to start to get dangerous if they start scoring points like they're scoring points. And they got a dandy coming up this week against Baltimore. So
And
they're
that
going
Mike Williams pickup was great too.
apparently is.
It paid off.
And with very little action, they got the score that made the difference in the ballgame. I mean, this is a game the Commodores, he's doing his Commodore 64
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
forget. So just saying.
Throughout the Trump.
He's the only one that knows who the
Baby,
Commodores
you
are,
want
but
the
we'll let
stuff?
it go.
Well, it's either that or Machine Gun. At least this song has words to it. Machine
So-
Gun's awesome.
All instrumental, baby.
So,
But
so
yeah.
but Too Hot to Trot's got the words to
Yeah.
it, baby. Yeah.
Captain Boogie.
you'll
Captain
find out really
Boogie.
quickly that I play the dumb card on here because he's got all the music and video and movie trivia, and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah,
I'm
and
actually
it's-
I'm
Joke
actually
and
older
MC.
than he is. All right,
No.
San Francisco beat Tampa Bay. Now the Buccaneers it didn't hurt Tampa Bay really all that much because the Falcons got beat. But this is
Yeah.
an important win for San Francisco on the road. They got to make another statement this week against Seattle. But you can't argue with the way the Cardinals are playing right now, which is you noticed in our intro had the eye on the Cardinal. Did you see that? Okay. Anyway, all right. Pittsburgh. We already talked about that.
Wait. Before we go there,
Oh, where are we
I was
going?
gonna say, hey, and watching that game because I'm here in fake pirate land, and I'm
Yeah.
like very
Yeah.
rarely would root for the Niners, the Whiners, but I had to because I'm in fake pirate land, and the friggin' Niner kicker missed 2 field goals,
He did.
but got the ultimate one.
He got the
At
one they
the end.
needed.
Thank
But
you.
But that's a really important point, though, Cap, because this game really wasn't as close as it looked like from the scoreboard. So if you're only looking at the 23-20 score, you're thinking, wow, that was a great game. It really wasn't. Baker Mayfield played way over his head and kept Tampa Bay in the game.
that-
It's a game that they could have won, but it
Should've.
really wasn't that close.
Yeah.
But again, it didn't really hurt them because the Falcons got beat. Had the Falcons won that game, then they'd be up, 3 games on Tampa Bay instead of 2. And at week 11, that would be putting a lot of pressure on the rest of the teams in the division, especially since the Falcons have beaten us.
Yeah, but they're still a half game up on Tampa Bay. And the reason why I say that
6-4 to 4-6, yeah.
wait a second, let me explain. See, I'm gonna mansplain to the official. Okay?
Oh yeah, please.
Remember how many times has Tampa lost to the Falcons head to head? 2. There are 2 games ahead, which means they're really a half game on top of that. So even if they went and got the tie, they would still be over Tampa Bay. There's your mansplaining, Mr. Stripes. By the way, you got to find Johnny Cash's song, I Got Stripes. I got, that's a great song if you're going to have that in there. Yeah. Look it up.
Okay, I'll try to do that when I have some spare time. As
Jesus
soon as I finish
Christ.
defragging my zebra.
Yeah,
Tennessee wanted LA to beat and to take on the Chargers. Look, it's the Chargers team that we haven't that we put on the clock actually in week 8, but they're sneaking up on some folks, y'all. And they got a big one Sunday night. They got flexed into Sunday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. That one actually could be interesting. We'll get to that. But you got to appreciate the way the Chargers have all of a sudden decided to show up in the last half of the season, right?
Yeah, they're definitely playing some team ball. It's not star laden, but they're playing team football, and you see the improvements in that squad week after week. I can't wait for that last game, that matchup between us and them. We won't give that one away.
Well, probably not. And there was a lot of chatter about, we could have we being Raiders could have had Jim Harbaugh, but it doesn't matter because we don't have Herbert. So
yeah,
I mean,
Hey,
Bill Belichick looks.
Don't
Bill
talk about-
Belichick's a Hall of Famer because of Tom Brady.
If you want to talk about Harbaugh, go back, and this is a shameful plug, but I'll do it. Last night on the Peggy show, where she goes over all things the Raiders report card, she told everybody, and it was true, there was no way in hell that Harbaugh was going anywhere but San Diego, Los Angeles, or San Angeles, like they had in that movie with
Hollywood, man. Hollywood.
He was going there. Why? Because it got rid of Telesco. He wasn't going there because he was not going to have the same situation he had in Frisco with Balky. So he's like, get rid of Staley, get rid of Telesco, and I'm going to move in to Hollywood. I'm Hollywood. There you go.
Is that a song as well?
Yeah.
Let's see, it says Baker bought some wine insurance. He did indeed. Saints took the Falcons to Bourbon Street. They did indeed. They gave him some free beads too. Somebody that probably needs a trip to Bourbon Street's the New York Jets. They went into Arizona and got pounded by Angry Bird Southwest. Wayne, this is the Cardinals team now that looks extraordinarily. Yeah, there you go. Don't show us. Oh, never mind. You're going to anyway.
I'm going to anyway.
Oh, the front of it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
Oh my God!
If you're gonna say beads, baby, that's what I got.
That's about
Allie, you can autograph these. I'll keep them for.
I'll do that for you, Captain Jack.
Oh man!
But now that you're not coming to Miami, I don't know.
Some lucky damn beads.
I will make, darling. I will make a special trip for you at a time where I can have you sign anything you want to sign.
Okay.
Like you mean like a book or a pair of socks or something?
Sure,
Yeah,
we'll
Ben
say
Johnson is going to
That's exactly it.
Yeah, we'll see that.
Maybe that mug.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah.
No, she's talking about this mug. Okay.
I know what mug she's talking about.
So
I'm using it to my advantage, baby.
No, I understand.
That's
that.
right.
I understand that. Wayne, Cardinals look pretty good. They look dangerous in the NFC West.
Yeah, they are dangerous, and they're going to be pushing the Niners.
They are.
I think they're the leaders in that division right now because that team is young,
That's
fully
it.
focused, and now they have that offense keyed up, and the defense can rest while they maintain ball control. It's an easy do. This ain't chemistry over here. It's football.
No,
so they make it easy on their defense to come in and just play cleanup.
Yep. Speaking of chemistry, there isn't any in Dallas. They got the crap beat out of them by the Eagles, a division win. This division's been over pretty much for a while.
Yeah.
for any hope for the Cowboys. But now they've completely tanked. This is a Washington, Philadelphia run now. Somebody's going to get the division. Somebody's going to get the wild card, which is going to tighten it up for the rest of the teams in the NFC. So you've got Minnesota, Green Bay, maybe Tampa Bay, San Francisco, maybe Seattle. So there's a lot going on in the NFC. But the Eagles now, with the division win over Dallas, they have Washington tomorrow night at the Link. What was? Oh, that was okay. That was the Eagle thing.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was a crow with a sore throat. All right. There's a Detroit.
I got your crow right.
Detroit went into Houston. Detroit went into Houston, got all they want from the Texans. Look, the Texans maybe had a chance at this, but didn't get it done with the field goal at the end. There's just something going on with field goal kickers. I don't know if they're drinking too much Gatorade at halftime or whatever's going on, but the Lions got the win. They stay ahead in the division. This is the Lions team, guys, that we've said for quite a while now seems laser focused on everything that they're doing week to week.
Throw them dollars, baby. Yeah.
Get paid.
But to me, the Toi
what are you doing?
He got paid. Aren't you paying attention?
Well, not really. No, go ahead.
But anyway,
I got things to do.
Yeah.
Oh, paid. I got you.
Paid
$22. I got paid $22.
No, I got 50. There's 90. There's $92.
I've done it for a whole lot less than that.
You forgot the 50, baby. The 50.
Oh yeah.
But like I say, the Lions are the definition of grit, and they showed that in that game, because I really didn't expect them to pull it off the way Houston was playing, but they showed C.J. Stroud that he's still a rookie in this league. Well, a second-year guy in this league.
But they're still missing Diggs as a big part of that offense. Yes,
and that was a big part of their offense that was missing.
We said last week that Miami coming off the bye going into LA would beat the Rams. They got it done. Look, this is a Dolphins team that looks completely different now than they did even a couple weeks ago. It's unfortunate that Miami only has 3 wins, but the way the rest of the AFC is currently playing out, we've often said on this show that coaches that get up and say at this time of the year there's still a lot of football to be played is total BS. In the case of the Miami Dolphins, that might not be the case. They won a big interconference game on the road against the Rams. They didn't get anybody banged up. They've got the Raiders at home this week. We'll talk about that when we get into the week 12. But you guys, and I know we have Dolph Ricky on the show, but this is a Dolphins team now that maybe has decided that maybe they could turn the corner.
You know what?
I mean, the thing is, Tua's returned. That's the biggest turning point that we've had, and like I'll speak to this. Like, our fan base is totally divided on Tua, but I think we can all agree that we are a much, much better team with Tua Tagovailoa. So
that's right.
He's been back for 3 games now. Those first 2. We lost on a last-minute field goal, so finally had a chance to show them out. And the defense came up huge in this game, just absolutely huge. Held them to 5 field goals. They had no offensive touchdowns, so it was a big day for the defense. And we have been banged up on defense, so this was good to see for me. I mean, I was starting to go into a depression there for a little bit. I know you guys can relate, but I wasn't fully like, let's tank the season. I'm like, okay, we're going to get Tua back at some point. And we have such an easy schedule. So,
you've got a lot of winnable games coming up. The issue is, you're a minus 55 over under in points scored versus points given up. But you're almost last in the league in scoring. So the Dolphins are going to have to put up some points, but they've got the Raiders this week, winnable game. They've got New England at home.
There's your remedy right there.
I was trying to feel out this room a little bit and see, like, if you guys were cocky going into this, if you want to, like, are you guys throwing this game or what?
With Gardner Minshew at the quarterback, we don't have any hopes. But look, that your offense is just going to be too much for our defense. I think our defense can give the offense a little bit of trouble. But at the end of the day, the Raiders just aren't putting up enough points. So far, the Dolphins really haven't either, but I think this is a very winnable game for them. You got New England at home next week, another winnable game. You have to go to Green Bay, but you still have 2 against the Jets. You got 1 against Cleveland. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 wins, depending on what the rest of the division does, could make it very interesting for the Miami Dolphins. So that closes out week 10.
Fight song. Allie, do me a favor. You have pull. The next time I go to see and that maybe it's not the one reason, but it is a reason why I don't go down there. And I've told you this. If you take the friggin' fight song from some team and you don't even bother to change the words, because every time I'm down there, Houston Oilers, Houston Oilers, Houston
We did
Oilers,
change the
number
words.
one.
We did change the words to Miami Dolphins.
That's the only thing, Callie. That's
Does that
the
song
only
bother
thing.
you? Are you triggered? Are you triggered by our song? It's
She's
just a-
not old enough to know the Houston Oilers are.
I am, and I know the history of our song, and we love it dearly. But
I don't blame you.
there's a good portion of the fan base calling for a new song, and they have redone it. Actually, T-Pain redid it a few years ago, and I loved it, but people didn't really receive it as well. But I don't think that's ever going away. I really don't.
Well,
Like a bad
I love to hear the struggle between the fan bases. That's awesome.
Oh, we've got it. Trust me.
That's
We've got
awesome.
drama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word we use, drama.
We
Yeah.
have drama. Yeah, we're very, very divided on many fronts, unfortunately. And we don't take losing very well, even though we're like used to it. We felt like we were on the up and up in these last couple of years,
Right.
and that this year was supposed to be huge for us. And man, like it's been turmoil, like to the
Yeah.
point where I've really kind of like taken myself out of like a lot of it, and like I've been
Yeah,
avoiding my
step back.
Twitter and just trying to find peace right now with what we've got.
Stay
So,
positive. Stay positive.
yeah, I'm trying
get
to. I mean, I am a very positive person in general, and I get criticized for it all the time. But like, I'm always going to be that hopeful fan.
That's
Like
right.
I've
You got to. That's what fandom is.
I've
Yeah.
never seen like legitimacy with the Dolphins. Like when I became a fan in like 1999, like we haven't really won playoff games since then. So I'm holding on to like literally like nothing, but I try. I try.
Definition of fan right there.
Yeah.
would be the only reason, and I mean this, she would be the only reason that I would drive down 75 to meet her at the restaurant to go on the van, because we discussed this. We discussed it.
We're not doing the bus anymore.
Okay. Well,
And
I
the
can go with
reason-
you.
I mean, fan engagement is the reason, because like when the team, is losing, like the fans become disengaged. And, I run Southwest Florida Dolphin Club. So we were planning to do a bus trip. We do it every year. We do one bus trip. And this was the game that we had picked. But the thing is, like, people aren't even coming to the watch parties anymore. Like we go from we had like 170 people last season at our last watch party for the playoffs. And then we went to like 20 people in the watch parties now. And I'm like, what am I going to put on a whole bus trip for, and then end up having to eat the cost of the bus and everything. So we nixed that whole thing. But that's
Well,
that's what happens.
If I come down there, you can strap me to your hood.
Fine.
Oh, they
I
would
think
come
I
out.
can In the next couple of days, I'm pretty sure I can convince you to come either way.
Well, I am not even going to touch that remark, but we'll talk about a trip.
So
You're
The Bra-
terrible. Stop flirting with me on the internet.
the Browns, Raiders, Packers, and Seahawks had a bye. Before we get into Week 11, we'd like to welcome everyone back again and let know that Dolph Freaky, Miami Dolphins elite fan, was it 2022 fan of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is 2022 fan of the
Yeah,
year.
there you go, 2022 fan of the year. Congratulations on that. So tell us
you.
a little bit about yourself, how you became a Dolphins fan, and how things are going down in Miami.
Yeah, so I became a Dolphins fan like 1999, 2000. I was like 9 years old, and my dad was just a diehard through and through. I was growing up in Pennsylvania, and for him, like football was it on Sunday. Like you couldn't even talk to dad at all, and whatever happened in the Dolphins game dictated his mood for the rest of the day. And I'm sure we can all relate to that. We watched the game at dinner, complete silence. And that's just like what I grew up with. And eventually I realized if I wanted to have any sort of connection with my dad on the weekend, I had to start watching football. So, he said, shut up, just sit down and watch the game. I'll teach you everything. And that's what we did. For years and years, we did that. And then finally he started bringing us to Miami for games. And it changed my life. Like it really did, because coming to a home, your home stadium, where the energy is just unmatched, and you see, super fans, and you see how so many different people do fandom, and it just made an impact on me. And I was like, I just have to move to Florida. So I was going through pharmacy school, and then, eventually I said, as soon as I'm done with pharmacy school, I'm moving down, I'm getting season tickets. I want to be a part of this, and I want to do all the things that these quote unquote super fans are doing. I want to host parties and I want to do events and I want to do tailgates and I just want to do charity and like do everything that I can do. And so that's pretty much how it came throughout like my time in college. They did have a contest. DirecTV held a contest for the ultimate displaced fan. And so I was an honorable mention in that contest. And then that's how I kind of came into the social media scene. And so by the time I got to the point where I actually moved to Florida, I had a lot of friends, through Facebook and, people that I already knew there, and they just welcomed me to the tailgate. And then eventually I ended up getting my season tickets in the deep end, which was our, I guess you guys have like the black hole or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like our version of that. So, it's where a lot of the diehards are. And, not only the people that, are dressy fans, but people who just do so much for the community. So it's really just my pleasure to be even, grouped in with those people. And then, throughout the years of just, doing things for the fan base and being a notable person on the internet and whatnot, I became fan of the year. So that was like just something I never expected to happen to me. There's so many worthy Dolphins fans that, around the NFL. Like I just never thought it would happen to me. And when the Dolphins came to my tailgate and surprised me, it was just the best day of my life. And I got to go to the Super Bowl and it was just a great, really just an awesome time. And I've had so many awesome experiences and privileges, throughout this journey. So including meeting you guys. So
well, I don't know if I put it at the top of the list, but no, that's okay. So how have things changed, if they have, since you became fan of the year?
I mean, it's more publicity now, and it's very overwhelming. I will say that, and like I have had to back off a little bit because, it's gotten to the point now where a lot of people, like, even if I'm out of my outfit, they will recognize me around town, and I can't go anywhere now without talking about the Dolphins. And sometimes, like when the team is not doing so well, like that's sometimes the last thing you want to talk about, right? So it gets very overwhelming, and anywhere I go, like Dolphins related, I'm swarmed with people, and that's the biggest thing I think that's changed since the award. But I mean that was already kind of starting to happen like in the years leading up to. But I do fully love like meeting people and just seeing how different people celebrate the team, and people travel from everywhere. We have such a following everywhere in the UK and Germany, and I've just met so many people that it's just been fantastic. And I mean, as far as the team, when I was the fan of the year, I thought it was going to be like some sort of prophecy fulfilled that like you're the fan of the year and they're going to the Super Bowl this year, and like this is the height of everything you've worked for, and all the dedication and you're being loyal all this time is like going to come to a head. And we lost in the wild card against Buffalo, and that was that was like one of the biggest heartbreaking situations for me as a fan, because I thought that was going to be my year, right? Like let's top it off with the cherry on top. And so after that, then we've just kind of we had a good year last year, but now we're struggling. So I just try to stay true to myself and true to the things that I love to do. And this fandom is all consuming. My kids are named after the Dolphins. My room, like everything for me is the Dolphins, whether it's podcasting, social media, preparing for tailgate.
Yeah.
Like I'm recruiting fans every day, like no matter where I go. And I love that. And I will never, ever give this up. Ever.
So I assume that you've met former Dolphins players throughout your journey. Tell us about some of the players that you've met and how you felt about that. What did they mean to you when you met them?
The one that I waited the longest for was Dan Marino, and I just met him for the first time. And this is, the one people always ask me about. And I met him for the first time at our big fundraiser, the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. It's the biggest fundraiser in the NFL, actually, and it's just a fantastic time. It's a 5K bike ride and it's a bike ride and a 5K. And, there's a lot of those alumni out and about. And so I did get my chance to meet Dan. And he had been drinking a little bit. So I'm not even sure if he remembers he remembers it at the time, but it was.
I remember you, babe. Trust me.
I didn't have my hair on at the time, so he might not have. But you know what? Like for me, that was like a huge moment, even though it was very brief. And my ultimate idol has always been Jason Taylor, and he was just so huge when I was becoming a fan and growing up, and Dad and I just loved him, and so much so that I named my son after him. And
Wow.
so yeah, and so I did finally get to meet him, but not at a Dolphins event, at a Hurricanes game actually.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, so we won the game, and I'm screaming, JT. He came from the middle of the field and started walking towards me, and I'm literally freaking out in tears. Like, that's the only player that's fully done that for me, like to the point where I'm crying and screaming. And he came over and he took my phone and we took a selfie, and that was super cool. Like, I had interacted with him like on Twitter and things, but I don't get like super fangirly around players, because like at the end of the day I realize they're all real people, and
There
that
you
is
go.
their
Yeah.
job. It's their job. And like, some of them like when fans like go crazy over them, and you can tell some of them are just straight up annoyed, and you don't know what you're going to get when you approach someone. So
right.
I don't go crazy, but with those two, that definitely meant something. And I met Tua at the Super Bowl experience, and we got to play a trivia game together, and
Nice.
like
That's awesome.
top 5 moment. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I've had a lot of cool experiences and got to meet a lot of people.
That's super cool. Well, the three of us on the show are old enough to remember the early day Dolphins and their undefeated season and their
Yeah.
back-to-back Super Bowls back in the day. I mean, all three of us have seen all the Super Bowls, so
Mhm.
there's a lot of history there, even between Raiders and Miami, especially back in the
Oh,
the
yeah.
Don Shula days. So I
Yep.
think it's terrific to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time
Thank you.
to be with us, and we're looking forward to that game. So you'll be
Yeah.
at the game on Sunday. Do you have a certain place that you sit?
Yes. So I sit in the deep end, which is section 129. I'm in row 2.
Okay.
And then we tailgate at East 12, and that's in the orange lot, row 209. So I run the Southwest Florida Dolphin Club tailgate, and it's like
Okay.
smack dab in the row by East 12 is kind of a very renowned tailgate
Okay.
at the Hard Rock. So I'm usually in that row somewhere. So anybody wants to come say hi, come have some freaky juice. That's my signature
go.
juice.
Freaky juice. Okay.
So
It's
and what is that?
hydrating.
Okay. All right. And
Yep.
then, so your brand, does it have a store or a logo or
No.
merchandise people can buy, or do you have
No.
a place where people can contribute to your cause?
Yeah, so I haven't like branded my my doll freaky self per se. So I don't have merch. I just try to
Wayne,
I
she
don't
needs a
know. I just
bobblehead. Hook her up, man.
yeah. Well, there actually is one kind of in the works.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like I don't really have a store or anything, but I do have a charity, dollfreakiesfriends.org. So you can go through that website and check out some of the things.
Dollfreakyfriends.org. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been trying to feel out like what I really, really want to do with my charity. And I'm a pharmacist. So a big thing for me has become kind of tackling the opioid epidemic. And that's a big thing here in Florida. And so I've been working with the state of Florida to distribute Narcan nasal spray.
Okay.
So that's been my big initiative over like
Okay.
the last year. And just for trying to prevent opioid overdose. And, it's not just people who, take opioids for prescription or abuse drugs, illegally. It's pretty much anyone should have one in their house, in their car.
I
For
gotcha.
me, I like to have one at the tailgate, because I think we all know, like,
You never
drug
know.
use happens out there in
Yeah.
the tailgate. But at the same time, you have a little kid that, finds a Percocet. It's good to have that available at any point in time. And we travel a lot, so we stay in hotels a lot. And it's just like a good thing to just always have a Narcan on hand. So that's my
Yeah.
big thing that I've gotten into. But
Okay.
more recently I've been doing, we do a charity, we do a toy drive every year with the Deep End. So
Okay.
that's not
Awesome.
my initiative,
Nice.
but that's a big thing that we do. And we're doing that this weekend. So if anybody wants to bring an unwrapped toy, we
Oh,
can collect
great.
that. So
Great.
tell all your Raiders fans to bring a toy. And
Yeah. Bring a
um,
Raiders bobblehead or something.
yeah, that's fine. Anything really.
So I don't know if you can see the chat. Did I get your organization right?
Yeah,
Dollfreakyfans.org?
dollfreakyfans.org. Got
Um,
it there. Yeah.
Doll freaky. Well, I can I put in this thing here? Let me see.
Yeah,
Can I type in here?
Did you screw it up, Ref? Yes,
Well,
he did.
probably.
I can correct the spelling.
He
on
put
here.
an extra F in there. And babe, you don't need any extra F's. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, it's all freakies like my name, and then friends with a PH instead of an F.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, small
Yeah,
but
if you
mighty
go to Dolphin
organization.
fans, that's different.
All
Yeah,
right.
that might be a
Oh.
different
Yeah,
thing.
that's a whole different
And there
thing.
is no
Yes.
OnlyFans. There is
Yes.
nothing like that. So don't even ask me, because I get those questions a lot, and that's not, that's not my jam. So,
I got you.
yeah, this one.
Yeah, him.
I was trying to see if there's a way to delete that.
Oh, it's okay. But you can
alright.
reach me on at Dollfreaky on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and that's where all my
Alright.
stuff is. So.
All right.
I wanted
And
to
I-
also add
Go ahead.
what she's doing is what I envision as an ambassador of a team. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not big on the whole super fan thing, because to me that's a putting us in a box, so to speak, and it's
Yeah.
nothing super about us. What we do makes us super. But
Yeah.
we're just
And anybody can
ambassadors.
be a super fan.
Yes.
And anybody
Yeah.
can be an ambassador. Our
Right.
fan of the year that just got nominated was Lisa Siegel, and she's just one of my best friends and just the sweetest woman ever. But you know what? She's someone who doesn't dress up for games. She's at every single game. She's had season tickets for like 35 plus years. But what she does is huge for the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. So much so that she's raised $100,000 for
Wow.
that by herself.
That's
Wow.
super sick.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
And you know what I see? Like people, I see people saying, well, she's not out there. Like we don't see her. You don't see her.
don't-
Exactly. You don't see her, but she is doing so much for that community and so much for cancer research that, she was so worthy of being the next fan of the year.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
And it's
That's
great. Go
amazing.
make sure you watch the IG video of her being given that
It makes me cry. It makes me cry every time. It's just, just
Yeah.
the
That's what it's
sweetest thing.
about, though. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
what
will
it's about.
I will say this as well. Miss Dollfreaky, my favorite Allie, okay? She made sure that this old dude walked without being, falling out when we were in Detroit, when we were at the draft, okay? She or her husband or brother and all the guys already should make sure, hey, wait for whoa, where's Cap? So she made sure and that was a long ass walk. So I will say
That was like a 4-mile walk.
Wow.
Wow.
so we did it.
We
And then the
carried
next
him.
day-
We carried him. I'm just kidding.
No, it was close. It was close, but
was
Allie
close.
on the one day, and then the next day, Tien and I can't remember the other gal's name, the Minnesota gal. And she's a nurse, by the way, too. So I had a pharmacist and a nurse. I had the medical community out there each day, making sure that my tired old ass with the neuropathy got to where we needed to be. And personally, I said I love Allie just because of the way she is. But when you see that people actually care enough about me, that just makes them
That's
really
it.
special. I wanted to make sure that people knew that.
Oh,
True
you're
fans.
sweet.
True
You're
fans.
sweet. And you know what?
Wow.
I never forgot what you said about, like, we said something about our super fan costumes, and you were like, it's not a costume, it's a uniform.
It's a uniform.
And then
It's a
somebody said that to me.
Yes.
Like I was out somewhere and they were like, I like your uniform. And I just
Yes.
thought of you right away. I was
It's a
like, I
uniform.
remember who said that to me the first time.
Right.
Oh, we had
That-
such a good time at the draft. I love that.
And I will be. Are you going up to Green Bay, hon?
Yeah, I'm not going for the Dolphins game, so I'm going to go for the draft.
Then
Yeah.
I will see. Inshallah, God willing, I will
Mhm.
be in Green Bay for the draft, and we'll be able to hang out again.
I would love
And another
nothing more.
time because you got to sign my beat.
That
That's
I
fine.
I
I'll
did
sign
it
your beat.
clean. I did it clean. I didn't show
Yeah.
the upper the other stuff's for Allie.
I
Okay,
think it's
so
upside down. The draft in Green Bay is going to be terrific.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
can't wait. I mean,
other than
Detroit
Canton-
draft was crazy.
yeah. I mean, but other than Canton, I mean, I mean, if you haven't been, for those out there, if you haven't been to Green Bay, it's a humbling experience, quite frankly. I mean, particularly Lambeau
And
Field.
I never have. I've never been there. So
You're driving down the street, all these houses, and all of a sudden you get to the last house, and boom, there's Lambeau Field. It's it's amazing experience.
Well, I've heard people say, like, where are they going to put the draft in Green Bay? Like, it's not that sort of setup. So curious
They'll
to see
figure
how
it
they do
out.
it.
There's a lot of space around there that they'll be able to make good use of it, I'm sure. But the environment, Green Bay itself, it isn't a tourist attraction per se, but the fact that the Packers are there and it's a neighborhood environment just gives you a whole different perspective about pro football and the roots of pro football and the history of pro football. I've been to a lot of places, including Canton, and as soon as I set foot, at Lambeau Field, I was like, wow. I mean,
Different.
this is a stadium where literally legends prior have played.
Yeah.
And it was a humbling experience. We were down on the field, and there was a pretty good crowd there. But I was talking to some folks down there, and I said, is this the end zone where Bart Starr ran the play to beat Dallas, right, in the Ice Bowl? And they said, yeah. So we kind of walked out there so you could just kind of get a feel for the spot in the end zone. We were talking about it, and he knew I'd been an official. So he said, well, where would you have been on that play? And I said, well, honestly, in 1966, I wouldn't have been here then because back then they only had 6 officials. They didn't have 7 officials, so I wouldn't even been on the field.
Right.
But to answer, more specifically the question, your 6th official, we would have had, one here. But so we spent like 30 minutes on the field, just walking around that spot, talking about that one play and the play and the officiating and the back and forth, and Bart Starr going over to talk to Lombardi and back out, and the Cowboys, trying to scrape the field with their cleats. And the people that when we started this conversation, there were 3 or 4 of us having this conversation, and they were all Packers personnel. There were maybe, I don't know, half a dozen people there, just kind of milling around, not really paying any attention. By the time we were done, I looked up and there was a half circle of about 3 dozen people all standing there quietly. You thought it was like the 18th hole at Augusta. And all of a sudden I looked up and all these people are looking at us, and I was like, what are you all doing here? And they're like, we want to hear more. We want to hear more. So there were a lot of folks that didn't know the story of the Ice Bowl. And so it was just really interesting experience. And you don't leave Lambeau the same person, I don't think. If football's in your heart and in your spirit, you don't leave Lambeau the same way. It just for me, and I'm a Raiders fan, but the point is, it's football and it's history and it's a sacred spot. And it was just it was a humbling experience. So hopefully the draft will be that. There'll of course be a lot more people, but hopefully you'll get a sense of that while you're there. And I encourage you to take the tours. If they have Packers tours, you can sit behind Vince Lombardi's desk like I did, if it's still available. And that was an interesting experience as well.
Cool. I'll definitely try to do that. I mean,
Yeah,
I love doing the stadium tours, and that'll be fun.
Yeah,
put it on the list, Captain Jack. Put it on the itinerary.
Yeah. I don't know how much if you'll be able to go down onto the field.
Are you kidding? For Dolph Freaky and the old dude? Come on, man.
For us, they will.
It was pretty awesome.
All we got to do, we'll get a hold of the other Wayne Sargent, okay, and we'll get a hold of, oh my goodness, the Steve Tate, and if they can't, if Steve or Wayne can't do it for look at that beautiful girl. Are you gonna say no to her?
They say no to me all the time, but that's okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You can come and go as you please, but you're welcome to stay around. If you're on a schedule, we'll talk about the Raiders game right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about it now because I got kids that got to get to bed.
I got you. All right. I forgot you're 3 hours in. Okay. The Raiders are in Miami to take on the Dolphins. This is a Dolphins team that showed up and gave the Rams all they wanted to. A Raiders team that can't seem to find their way out of the locker room. I like the Dolphins in this one. The Dolphins, I think, now have a shot at the playoffs. It's a long shot because of the way they've.
It's a major long shot, but it can be done.
They got to start if they want to go further than just the wild card spot. or wild card round. They got to start scoring some points. But I'll tell you what, when they broke the huddle against the Rams last week, and you see Beckham Jr. and you see Tyreek Hill and you see those guys line up, this is a Dolphins team that if they want to put up points can do it.
We have so much talent,
Yeah.
much talent. And
Yeah.
for some reason, we have been struggling, to put it together. And I mean, a lot in part, just having a different quarterback every week has hurt us substantially. And like we have seen games where Tyreek just had 8 yards and one
Right.
catch, and it's like, what
and you
is
wonder
going
why.
on? Is that
Exactly.
yeah, and so for us, a lot of our struggles may have been related to coaching and play calling and just the lack of Tua being there. But I do like us in this game also, but I just know that anything can happen. and I hope we're not letting our guard down on this game, because we do have to go completely full bore for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you do, but you got an officiating crew that hates the Raiders. So
is that so?
that's gonna be a
That's
benefit
a little
to you as
nugget.
well.
That's a nugget right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
John Hussey and the boys.
Yeah, this is our number one. We don't like this crew.
Interesting.
From that standpoint.
Yeah.
And the umpire and I don't see eye to eye on what color blue is. So this is not a good game for the Raiders from that standpoint. But you brought up one thing that I want to touch on real quickly is, what is the sentiment either for yourself or the pulse of the team or the fans about your head coach? I've not been a fan of him for a lot of reasons, particularly from a football standpoint. But what's the sentiment in your neck of the woods with regards to your head coach?
So up until this season, I think most of us were big fans. He's quirky, he's different, but he's also intelligent. He's a Yale grad. He's, supposedly this, offensive genius. And we have, had a lot of success, with him in the last couple seasons. It wasn't until this season that things kind of started to change. And his overall demeanor kind of seems to have changed too. Like even just in press conference and things, a lot of stuttering, like not really finding the wording. And so the feel of the fan base is the Miami lifestyle, getting to him? Is he overwhelmed with the challenges that he has with the team? We've gone through a lot of changes in the off season. Is it just the pressure getting to him? And he has, struggled to play call. Like that's just been a thing that's been a problem since he started. Sometimes relinquishing control of that is like what you really need to do, but he won't. And so, I think the fans right now are very divided on McDaniel. There's, a lot of people calling for him to be fired. Some of that has quieted down since we've won a game. And that's like the funniest thing about our fan base is that like when we're losing, they're mad, like big bad, like fire everyone, fire the GM, fire everyone. Like, and when we're winning, we're cool with it, right? Okay. But we're very temperamental that way. So, for me, I would still like to see us ride out with McDaniel. I felt like he showed a lot of composure in the last game. Things were going really well. It seemed like they had, a good rhythm going on offense and defense. And I just, I felt like everything went well. So I don't know if it's just that he was missing, his boy Tua, because they have put a lot.
They have
Tua, and so it's one of those things that you just don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. So,
well, I think if they've got what they need now to pull it out. I think if they don't pull it out, I think, in my opinion, some of that is going to rest on the head coach from that standpoint, because I think that if the Dolphins are going to make their season, they have the chance to do it. It's a slim chance, but it's still there with the schedule that they have, especially with the division games that they've got coming up that they can win. From that standpoint, but it'll be interesting. Richard Chase joined the show. Don't forget, just so you know, Richard Chase has his own social media presence as well. He has a Wild Wild West show, which focuses on the AFC West. He's he's a rugby, but also a football expert, in my opinion, has a lot of good things to say. He's part of the Mile High Roundtable network. If you're cruising around,
and he's Canadian, he's
on the internet looking for content, their show, Wild Wild West show, is pretty good. Again, they focus on AFC West, but his comment in there for you was that his dad is a Dolphins fan. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I meant to say this earlier too, that I have Raiders ties in my family also. So my father-in-law is a big Raiders fan, and this is always the week where we fight.
Yeah.
So shout out
Good
to
stuff.
Tim Goodman. Hi, dude.
Good
Yeah,
I'm on a
well,
Raider show.
There's so much history there between those two teams, back from the
Yeah.
early days that a lot of us still hold on to a lot of pieces of that.
Mhm.
I've
He made
always
a
said,
critical mistake, though. He didn't raise his son to be a Raiders fan, and thus now his son is a Dolphins fan. I got a hold of him first.
wow, well,
Oh,
yeah.
there's some bragging points right there.
Oh,
I will
yeah.
I will say this is that piece is that in '72 when the Dolphins were undefeated, they didn't play the Raiders that year, and
because
I'm just
of one friggin' call, Allie. I think we've spoken about this, and if you don't know, you're gonna hear the old bastard talk.
Tell
Had
me.
they called the Immaculate Deception correctly,
Yeah.
we would have played Miami the next week, and I don't think you would have had that perfect season. And the reason
Woulda,
why,
coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
well, when
Yeah,
we did
exactly.
play Miami in '73, the next year with the same players
Yeah.
in it was in Berkeley because the A's were playing in Oakland for a playoff game.
Really?
Who won? Who? Yes. Who
Oh, I
took
didn't know.
out the Dolphins and finally stopped that win streak? It was yours truly. Well, not yours
Yeah.
truly,
First
but
time we got beat by the Steelers, but anyway.
Them
All right,
boys.
Mike says Raiders 35,
17.
Squish the Fish 17. There's
I
no
don't
way
think
the Raiders.
so. I don't think
No.
so.
There's no way the Raiders are scoring 35 points.
Mike,
Yeah,
Mike,
and I
Mike,
don't think our
you're-
defense is allowing that.
No,
What's up, Banner?
we ain't scoring that. If we have 35 points, it's all going to be defensive touchdowns. I don't think Tua's going to give away 5 defense. Well, he could give away 2,
No.
but the Fish are still going to score at least. The
Yeah,
7.
I think the Raiders could get 17 points, maybe. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah,
but
I
again,
don't
if the
think-
Dolphins want to turn around, this is the week.
I want to comment on Anna's comment. So he does have the "I married into this" shirt, and we used it in our pregnancy announcement when my daughter was conceived. I just saw recently he put a whole bunch of clothes together, and he's like, "I'm going to sell all these things," and that shirt was in there. And
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
hell no! I'm like,
Wow.
you need to wear that forever, dude. Like that's a
Oh,
part
my
of
gosh.
that's a huge part of us.
Well, yeah,
It is.
you probably
You
should
frame
frame it
it.
so it doesn't get
I
away
know,
again.
Right?
Get a frame.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that win in 73 was indeed a sea of hands. All right.
Thanks,
So,
Anna.
Dolph Ricky, thank you so much for joining us. Again, you're
Thank
welcome
you.
to stay as long as you
Love
like.
it, Allie.
When-
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna see my
when
way
you're-
out so I can get my babies to bed. But thank
Yeah,
you.
but thank you so much. You're welcome
Thanks
on
for
the
stopping
show
by.
at any time,
Thank you.
and appreciate you taking the time to be with us and telling us all about what's going on in Miami. And it's
Yeah.
great to hear from you. So,
Of course. Thank you
and-
so much for
Pleasure.
having me, guys.
Yeah.
I look forward to the game.
and good
May
luck
the
this
best
week.
team
weekend.
win.
That's
Yes.
the girl.
I don't
That's the
doubt that.
girl.
Hey, with John Hussey's crew, it's a foregone conclusion. I
Yeah.
guess.
That's a nugget though to keep under your lid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
You
take
know.
the win. Yeah, I'd appreciate
At
it.
any cost. I got you. I got you. Spoken
All right.
like a
Take
real
care,
fan.
you guys.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
thank
Be
you.
Allie.
good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Well, that
Good
was pretty
stuff.
cool.
Good stuff.
That was pretty cool. All right, tomorrow night, Thursday, Washington's going to go into Philadelphia, take on the Eagles. This is a game, guys, that one of the two games is going to decide the NFC East. The Washington, if you will, half game, if you will, over to Eagles. The Eagles get, I guess, the first nod in this because they're at home. This is a Commanders team that can win this game, but the Eagles stay focused. They can score enough points to stay with them. I think this is kind of the type of game where you're going to say if the Eagles can run the ball, run the clock, or the Commanders can't stop Barkley, it's going to be a long night. But if the running game really doesn't become a factor, I don't think they can win a shootout.
I think the running game is going to be a factor. Not sure the weather, but I got Philly at home in front of that rowdy crowd. There will be no Hail Marys in this one.
Yeah, I would say that Washington is this close to being that team that could dominate in the East.
I
Not
agree,
yet.
but-
Not tomorrow.
Not yet, but not tomorrow as well. Give me the Eagles and that's
Eagles.
said correctly.
Yeah.
Eagles. Give me the
Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles, but because they're playing at home. I think if this game's in Washington, it might go
Could
the
be,
other
yeah.
way. The Eagles need to run the ball, control the clock. Look, this is a division game that they need to win. They being
Yes.
the Eagles. If the Eagles are going to go formidably into the playoffs. This is a statement game for them. They need to go out. They need to win this game. They need to win this game 27-20. They need to run the ball, take control of the game, and not keep Washington in it or let them hang around.
Let them hang around.
If they let Washington hang around, I don't know what happens in this game. But it could go either way. But I'm going to go with you guys because we're going to bless you because we're going to take the Eagles at home.
I'm sorry, I do doubles, so
I don't blame you on that front. Speaking of doubles, the Bears are going to go into The Packers are going to go into Chicago and beat the Bears. This is the Bears team that can't find their way out of the locker room. The Packers coming off the bye, I think, I like the Packers on the road, and I don't really see a way the Bears can win this if the Packers decide to show up.
Go Pack, go.
Yep.
Go Pack, go in this one.
Yeah,
they're going to throw their helmets on the field
again,
and the Bears are going to be scared shitless, or actually no, they're going to be shit. Well, they're just going to shit. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
It's going.
Anna thinks Washington's going to win.
Oh, I saw that. Okay, Anna.
Well, look. This is a division game, guys, on a Thursday, but there's nothing wrong with folks who want a Washington pick, but. Again, this is a statement game for the Eagles, but that doesn't mean they're going to make it. But
I think they play in like 2 weeks though in Washington. Don't they have a rematch in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I say Washington takes the home game.
Yeah.
Philly takes the one.
Well, it's not a huge road trip, but it is a short week on the road for Washington. That's a lot to prepare for. Philadelphia basically didn't have a game last week against Dallas. I'm not sure the punter even took a shower. On the other hand, while Washington was at home, they got all they wanted in a beatdown with the Steelers, so they probably didn't get out of the whirlpool until yesterday. Yeah. So I just think on a short week, the Eagles are going to be a little bit better prepared for this one.
Well, the punter did take a shower because his wife insisted.
Oh, well, that's probably
you are not going to bed, mister, until you take a shower.
Yeah, or you can do it on the couch.
Not that he broke any sweat on the game. I got you.
Yeah, that too.
I don't think he broke any sweat in bed that night either because never mind.
All right, so we're going to take the Packers over the Bears in Chicago. Jacksonville going to go into Michigan and take on the Lions. I don't know how Lawrence isn't even going to play. I think Jacksonville maybe has a bye next week or something. So Jacksonville's not even going to show up. You can't even call this a trap game for the Lions. I just don't see how they can lose this one.
I need a cigarette. I have these V57.
I got V57.
I got Detroit in this one at home. They're on the road. I don't think they're going to look back. Like I said, they exemplify grittiness, and I like that kind of ball that they're playing right now.
What have I been saying about Detroit for weeks upon weeks upon weeks? We are the champion. We are going to win. We are going to win the NFC. We are going to the La Bowl de Super, and it's going to be down in New Orleans where we can play. We can use our language, the French in New Orleans. We got the Detroit, New Orleans French, and we got the Cajun French. It's written in the cards. It's written, and that's how do you say it, by the way? It's cards. It's written in the cards. Detroit, NFC Campion, and we're not going to, the F Jacksonville.
Right.
That's why the St. John's River flows north, is because Jacksonville and Georgia sucks.
Okay. So I think we're going to go with Detroit.
Detroit, you imbecile! I've been on this show for what, 2.5 years? At least 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You don't know how to pronounce.
But that's my gangster name. I can't give it up. All right, so we covered the Raiders going into Miami. Let's hang here for just a quick second. I like the Dolphins at home because the Raiders can't score any points. You'd think the Dolphins can't score any points, but look, guys, on paper, that offense is scary. They've got just enough running game to keep us off balance. The Raiders have the tools on defense to keep them in the game.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't think we're going to be able to get it done. Desert Raider has a good comment here. Says they're going to use the same terminology on offense. That's probably true. You can't change that up too much in the bye week. Says, but they'll throw a few wrinkles, which probably might be helpful. But the same as what gets
you. They had an offensive line that can block. And I also said this last night as well. If they do the same zone blocking bullshit, okay, it's going to be the same result.
Hopefully that changes.
power blocking, different plays. I mean, how many times did you see? And Wayne and I know this. You see them on the field. We're calling out the friggin' play before they even get everybody's. We know it.
Yeah.
So
look,
yes, change up this shit.
I totally agree with you. I just don't know how much you can change all that up in a bye week. Maybe some. I think that they can fix that. It's just probably going to take a little bit more time. I do agree that the Turners, Turner and company, could throw in a few wrinkles that might keep the Dolphins off balance for a while. But again, you got to play 60 minutes in with John Hussey's crew. It's just
out in your general direction.
Pretty much.
And they're starting Gardner. What I just heard today, they're sticking with him.
And I don't get that. I think if you can't change the zone blocking stuff, you got to change something.
Take. That's what that means. Take.
Anyway,
Richard,
they just won't score enough points.
No, they won't. Richie Chase says
the defense will. If the Raiders score, they're going to have at least one defensive score. Okay, because Tua does throw picks and he does fumble. Okay,
but you got
to get a defensive score. Okay, or they're going to be set up by a Tua interception or a Tua fumble, which is going to lead directly to a score. Seriously.
Well, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in Houston and they won that game.
Yeah, because what's his nose Stroud threw 4.
Well, yeah. Richie Chase says, listen to Frenchie go away.
I found in your general direction. I know where he's going.
Speaking of the Rams, they're going to go into New England and take on the Patriots. It's a Patriots team that if you let them hang around, they can beat you. The problem is they're slow and not scoring enough points. The Rams are quick and scoring points, but they're not playing any defense. What's going to give this week at the Razor?
At the Razor, I think the Rams are going to nick the Patriots because they've got that defense that I saw flying around this last game here. They've got some good guys, 2 of them from Florida State that I wish we could have picked up, but we didn't. I got the Rams because they can score points quick.
We had a chance to get one of those guys too. It was like Fowler. Fowler. And I was actually talking to his me as Bill Belichick wasn't, but Captain Jack was talking to Fowler's dad. Fowler wanted to be a Raider.
Wow,
Fowler wanted to be a Raider. They didn't show any attention to him, which is why Fowler's on the Rams. It's why Fowler and the Rams are going to get pissed off and they're going to take it out on the New England Belichicks. And it's going to be a bad game to watch. I'm just saying.
Well, I don't doubt you on that front. Cool Kev says Rams win by 3. I think it'll be more than that. I think it could be at least 10. Anna says everyone's scratching their heads talking about the Raiders, I think, but why? Is there something the Raiders changed we don't know about? I think the answer is no.
No.
Again, I think they could tweak a little bit, maybe to get Bowers or the running game or some alignments that will throw the Dolphins off a little bit. So if the Dolphins are studying anything under Getsy, the Raiders don't have to change a lot to confuse the Dolphin defense for a while. But if they don't turn it into points, it isn't going to matter because you can't
calling, execution, offensive line play.
Right, but you can't tweak enough things even in the 1 week bye that's going to throw the Dolphins off for 60 minutes if they know anything about making adjustments. So her question is, are they changing things we don't know about? No. Probably not enough to make a difference.
Not to make a difference, Adam.
Power blocking with JPJ at center. I totally agree that he should be a center. If he stays at center, he'll be a Hall of Famer at center. They got to get the rest of it worked out, but you got to start somewhere. And every time the Raiders went into camp in the 60s, like, okay, we got Otto. Who else we got? So, that's what they should be doing now, going into camp, going, okay, we got JPJ. Who else we got? Yep. Cleveland going to go into New Orleans, probably get beat by the Saints. Look, this is an interconference game that the Browns probably aren't going to win. The Saints, you don't know what Saints team's going to show up, but they're at home. They won last week in a division game against the Falcons that maybe they shouldn't have won, but they got away with it. They can put a little bit of tightening on the screws with Tampa Bay and maybe get the Falcons to look over their shoulder a little bit with the win against the Browns. It's a Browns team that could fluster that Saints offense for a half or so, but I'm not sure it'll be enough in the end. I think the Saints will take it, although it could be close, 20-17, 23-17. But the problem, with Cleveland, the same with some of the other teams, they're not scoring enough points.
You took the words right off my tongue, man. They're not scoring enough points. Saints can put up points at will with some teams, and I think Cleveland will be this team that they will test that backfield.
Yeah, and I think that the thing with the Saints, Wayne, is that they got to establish a running game early on the Browns and take some of the clock away. Cleveland's not going to be able to play catch-up football.
Hey, Daniel, make sure you give Ref an email about this. I wanted to make sure we got the attention on that. Daniel's in Germany, Ref, and he was asking about shipping. I know you were talking. I just wanted to kindly.
So that was Daniel?
Yeah, that was Daniel.
Questions
Daniel,
about the mug. How much is shipping?
Daniel in Germany.
Send me your shipping address to NFLNationLive@gmail.com, and we'll get you a mug. I don't know how long it'll take to get there, but we'll get you a mug. Don't worry about shipping. We'll send you a mug.
There you go.
Thanks for asking. We'll send you a mug. But I need your full shipping information to NFLNationLive@gmail.com. All right. What we got?
Baltimore.
All right. One of the games of the week. There's two big ones this week. You could say Baltimore going to go into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Look, in the last couple weeks, or actually for most of the season, I've not been on the Steelers bandwagon. I told you they were winning cheap. They weren't scoring enough points. They didn't do any of that last week. They played a Commanders team in Washington, tooth and nail all the way, scoring 28 points to win by 1. It was still a win. They got to play a little more defense, but, it's the Ravens team that put up 35 points at home against the Bengals. So if we're going to get into a shootout, I like the Ravens. If we're going to get into a ground game, I like the Ravens. Do you like the Steelers at home? We think that we're going to find out how good these Steelers are, actually, right?
If we're talking about this game, I like the Ravens. I got the Ravens.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I think the football pick is the Ravens. The Steelers are a little bit of an unknown, but guys, if they're really going to make a division push as opposed to a wild card push, they need this one at home because their next one's in Baltimore. That's probably not going to end well.
Not going to end well.
Going to be fugly both ways, and
weather part of it. Weather's going to sit in. So.
If it's weather, the Steelers get a couple turnovers. This game could be 17-14 or whatever. Cool Kev says Baltimore wins by 3. I think the winner's probably by 6 or more if it's the Ravens. If it's Pittsburgh, it could be less than that.
If you get down to like running game, the Steelers got Harris, and then you got King Henry.
Yeah, okay, that's a hell of a matchup.
I'll take Ravens in that running quarterback. You got Jackson over Old Man Wilson.
Yeah,
I'll take Jackson both throwing and running. Defense, maybe a little bit of a slight to the Pittsburgh defense.
I think a lot. If they don't have an answer for TJ Watt, it's going to be a long day.
Well, but see, that's the thing, though. It's like it's TJ, and then who else? As a compendium.
Yeah, no, understood. No, that's a good point.
But the only thing that I'd give Steelers overwhelming majority, and you really can't even do that. The kicking game, both of the kickers are phenomenal.
Yeah, so they are.
It's going to be a good game, but I still got the Ravens by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. Ed says Ravens by 14, probably not out of the question. I think that the Steelers' offensive prowess last week was an anomaly. If they put up 28 points against the Ravens, I'm going to back off the Steelers. But I just don't think they're going to get that. I think they'll be lucky to get 16 points out of this if the Ravens play the way the Ravens can play. But that's going to put Pittsburgh in a tough spot to try to win the division.
And I was saying Old Man Wilson. It's not Old Man Jackson, man. Come on. Hey, Ed, I love you, brother, but get your ears checked. Okay, I love you. It's
Old Man Jackson going to win MVP.
Old Man Wilson.
All right.
He's got better stats this year, right now, than he did last year when he won the MVP.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's on a tear. He's on a tear.
Okay. Well, Pittsburgh's in trouble then. Minnesota going to go into Tennessee, get beat by Whiskey Jack
Whiskey
and the
Jack.
Titans.
Man,
You
you don't even know how to pronounce my name, and I say that
Pronouns.
correctly.
Yeah,
Pronoun.
yeah, what pronouns are you using now?
I only use he and having a
It?
penis.
Oh,
Those
gotcha.
are my pronouns. He
Well,
and has a penis.
do you like
Mm.
purple?
Do I like purple?
Yeah.
Purple what? Microdust?
Well,
Microdust?
the Vikings are coming in, so you probably better get used to some purple on your
We
helmet there,
got some
because
purple shine. We put the colors in it, and we're going to make sure that they have as much of it as they can, because
Okay.
that's about the only way we're going to win.
Yeah.
Because it's like 3 syllables.
Yeah.
probably win.
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
and by the way, you Raider fans need to start wishing and hoping that the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants start winning some games so you guys can get a better draft pick, because we gotta suck less and you gotta suck more. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it. I'm just
No, I
saying.
understand that. I just don't think this week they're going to suck at all.
No, they
So
ain't
we'll
gonna,
see.
they're gonna win.
Yeah.
And, it's gonna be, and I'm passing out all of the purple that I can get my hands on. Hopefully those bastards will drink some so we can get a win.
They might. Speaking of not winning at home, the Indianapolis Colts are going to go into New York to take on the Jets. I don't even really care about this game, but this is a game the Colts should win easily. Jets aren't scoring enough points. We got 9 last week in Arizona. The weather could be a factor, but I think the Colts want to run the ball with Taylor. The Jet defense has just disappeared.
Yeah, I've got Indy in this one on the road in New Jersey, and because of that running game, and I don't think Flacco has to be much of a factor in this one.
Win, yeah.
win.
I like the Colts on the road just to kind of keep their hanging around playoff hopes alive for now. I'm not sure it'll last, but it will be. Atlanta going to go into Denver, get beat by the Broncos. Atlanta has no idea what they're in for on this one. I don't see Denver dropping this one at home. The Falcons are going to get a big old mile-high surprise, I think.
Yeah, taking Denver in the horseshoe.
You want a mile high surprise, you go in the wrong section of Denver and you look at one of what you think is a woman, and that's a mile high surprise. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, looks like the Dirty Birds are going to be flying home with
I was going to say, Daniel, Devontae Adams will definitely drop at least one more sure touchdown.
Probably. In a important division game, Seattle's going to go into San Francisco to take on the 49ers, the 49ers team that beat the Bucs last week. The score was closer really than the game was, but the 49ers struggling a little bit. The Seahawks are struggling a little bit. I like San Francisco because they're at home. I think they have more offensive firepower. The defense seems to be coming together a little bit. I think the Seahawks are kind of fading, and I think it's going to end up in a NFC battle for the title between the 49ers and the Cardinals at this point.
I got the Niners at home in Palo Alto. Yes.
Yeah. I got the Niners in Wineland,
Yeah.
And Kevin, I want to, if
The
I was a
Falcons?
man that was smoke stuff, I want to smoke whatever the hell Kevin has been smoking on all these points.
I don't know where the Falcons can go into Denver and beat the Broncos. I know Denver's gonna trying to pick the pieces up from a devastating loss, if you will, in Kansas City.
Oh, they're gonna be pissed off.
But
Exactly.
Sean Payton knows how to beat the NFC South. He spent 20 years down there. He knows how to beat the Falcons. He knows how to beat everybody, but he knows how to beat the Falcons. All right, and probably the game of the week, if you're not a Ravens or Steelers fan, the Chiefs are going to go into Buffalo in a big one. This is a game where Buffalo can make a statement by not only giving the Chiefs their first loss of the season, but it's more likely than not that the Chiefs might drop another one. If the Bills can keep their losses to 2, then we have a tiebreaker situation here that's going to mean a lot to Buffalo if they get the win this weekend and send the Chiefs home with an order to go.
Yeah, with some wings to go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got Buffalo at home. It's going to be rocking.
Who's the ref for that game? Brad Rogers.
I was just going to say who's depending on
Clark.
the crew.
Land Clark. Land Clark's a good ref. I've worked with Land Clark. I think he's an honest and upfront guy. The rest of the crew, but he's also a company man. He was brought in by, quote, the establishment. So I'm not sure how him or the loyalty to the crew feels about this, entertainment factor that they have going on with the Chiefs. But I don't think he's going to just let stuff go.
Right.
So I think he's got the wherewithal, if you will, to tell his crew to call it as they see it, regardless of what the league wants. I think this will be a fairly fair called game. I could eat that. But I like the Bills at home. I think the Chiefs are just primed for an upset at this point.
Prime for an upset is right. Been prime. I got Buffalo, like I say. Weather doesn't even matter. They owe them. They owe them.
Cool, Kev, if you give me a self-addressed stamped box, I will send you a Raiders mini helmet if Atlanta wins. He asked.
Yeah, he says Atlanta.
Give me a helmet if Falcons win. And
I'm taking Atlanta.
Well,
change my pick to Atlanta.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe I will. Well, the reason why I say Kev's got to give me a self-addressed because postage is expensive.
It is.
I can part with a mini helmet because I do got a few over. I've been cleaning my room off and on for the last 3 weeks. I'm getting there. I do have a mini helmet that has your name on it, Cool Kev. But you ain't doing this every week. You say, "Hey, if I win, you got to give me." No. It's for this week and this week only because you asked. If they win, you get me a box with the postage and your address. I will send you a mini helmet.
Nice.
If they win.
The Colts and Jets were scheduled for Sunday night. The NFL flexed them out and put in the Bengals and Chargers. Cincinnati going to go into LA and take on Jim Harbaugh and company. This one could be a shootout. I like the Bengals because of their firepower. I think that the Chargers could win this. Maybe they should win this. It depends on what Bengals team shows up. But this is a Bengals team that put up 34 points on the road last week against Baltimore. I know they probably don't get out of the whirlpool until tomorrow, but they've got till Sunday night to recover. If they tape it up and take it to them, this could be a fun one to watch. But I like the Bengals in this one.
I got the Bengals in this one also.
I like the Bengals because I can't stand the effing Chargers.
No, I understand that. I just think the Bengals have too much firepower if they want to use it.
They're finally starting to hit on the cylinders that they needed, and
that's true.
And I would say this: I actually like the call by their coach going for 2 in Baltimore. I did. It was like the same call that we did when we were in Nolans to start the season. That was an FU. We're going to win this game, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I like the call going for 2.
I don't blame you. I don't disagree with you. I just my gut goes back to what Madden would have done. Madden would have kicked the extra point to tie it up, taking his chances.
Taking it over. Yeah.
And he won a lot of damn games. So I'm not going to argue with this. I know it's a different era. The game is played differently now. Blah blah blah. And they had the play they wanted. I think the defender got there a little early.
A little early. Really? Yeah. A little early is a pregnancy that goes the 6 months.
I understand.
That's a little early. Okay, a little early.
Got there on Tuesday at 3. Just a
little early.
Okay, I appreciate that you picked up on that. And in the Monday night game that I may watch, Hallmark Channel. The Texans are going to go into Dallas to beat the Cowboys. I don't see any way Dallas is going to win this. Cooper Rush isn't going to beat anybody at this point.
Yeah, I got Houston in this one. That's going to be either hat.
Yeah, let's go with
either one. Yeah,
let's hear what
Which one you want me to talk like? The voice is damn the same. It's what the hat is.
Jerry Jr.
Okay, well, shit, that's this one. All right,
there you go.
This is remember, I had to get an extra hat for the Texans, so I got my Cooper hat for it's my Australian hat. And this is a Dallas Texan hat, and damn, we suck.
Well, I understand that, and I appreciate that you recognize that. The question that I have for you is, why'd they build a stadium that the sun shines into the end zone where nobody can see the ball when you throw it down in there?
Well, because we did the same thing in the stadium that we did for the original stadium. so that God
Oh.
himself,
So yeah, but he has to
God
look in there
himself,
sideways
not that he
because
can
it comes.
see the Cowboys lose, he can piss on us when we're losing. That's
Oh,
why
okay.
we have that hole in this. See, they
I
say
see.
it's because God wants to see the guy. No, God can take a piss on us anytime he wants to. That's
Well,
why there's a hole in the stage.
he might do that again on Sunday because Houston's going to come into town. And what do you have to say about that?
Yeehaw! I can do a Houston roll too. I said these guys suck. These guys are the Texans. That's the team in Texas. You know, there's only two things that come from Texas, and I will talk about
Heat
because
and
that's a movie line. But you know what I'm talking about.
Heat and
You know what I'm
armadillos.
talking. The Texans are a winning damn football team because we got our shit together. Okay,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
we got it so much better than those Star Boys, and people are starting to come on over to the
So
Texans.
so
And
what?
by the way,
How
did you see how red our uniforms were on the left?
I did. I
It
was going to
hurt
ask you.
my eyes. It
I was
hurt
going to
my
ask you
eyes.
because last week I said you had the one horn helmet. You're like, no, there's two, but
There's
those
two.
helmets only had one on each side. So I.
You're so damn stupid. You got to look at it from the front. You schmuck. You got to hold
Oh,
it.
is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
typical damn referee. You got stripes. Look it up, damn it, Johnny Cash. I
Well,
got
that's
stripes.
I
By
got
the
the
way,
Texans in this one though. Yeah.
Texans are going to beat those damn Cowboys. That's all I'm
yeah.
going to
I
say.
don't. I think that's probably if you want an
That's
easy
the
pick, that's
easiest
going to be it.
pick.
The question will be about
Easiest
how
pick.
much.
I'm still talking like this. I don't even have my fucking hat on anymore.
I'll bet that one though, guys, could be 27-24. I think it could be interesting.
It could be. That's
It'll
it.
be entertaining.
I think I kind of wish that the Bengals game had been flexed to Monday night. I know they can't really do that. Sunday night is the flex primetime spot, but I would have preferred the Cincinnati Charger game been on Monday night and Houston Dallas been on Sunday night. But it is what it is.
Mm.
Anyway,
I
all right.
got all my hats in. I got all my accents in, so I didn't really screw up this week.
No, you did. You did good. You did
Great
good.
job. Great job.
And I kept,
Yeah.
and I kept it somewhat on R rating, not the X rating when Miss Allie was here. So I love Allie; she's a wonderful gal.
Oh yeah.
So that
It was really
Good people.
no. I appreciate you guys scheduling and coordinating that. It was great to see her. I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it, but it was great, and it's always refreshing to see these elite fans come on the show and talk about why they became fans, what makes them
Exactly.
passionate about what they do, how their brand kind of became to be, and what their expectations are. These fans have a pulse on their team like no other. And you guys know that because you're elite super fans. I don't know what I am. I think I'm just a Saturday afternoon fan. I mean, I have a deep love and history for the Raiders and pro football in general, but I never came up with any specific brand. But you guys, you have unique perspectives because you can also have the bandwidth to go to these games and talk to players and talk to other fans. And I think that that's a pretty cool perspective. So glad that we can have the opportunity to show that to some of our audience out there, even though they might not be Raiders fans. Hopefully they're respective of the fact that these other teams do have fans, and that's why we're called NFL Nation Live, is because we want to respect all the teams from that standpoint. So in any case, let's go around real quick. Cap, what are you looking for this week besides maybe a Raiders win? Are you want a Raiders win or a Raiders loss in Miami? I guess it depends on. We know Jacksonville's going to get beat.
yeah,
Cleveland's probably going to get beat. The Giants have a bye, so
I hate saying this. I want to see improvement because, and I've said this, I'm not going to any more games other than Vegas because I got all my Vegas tickets and done. I ain't going, and I'm coming to Tampa because I got to drive down the street. That's it. Unless I see some sort of pulse, okay? And I will see if it starts this weekend. Because the only other game that I would go to would be Nollins for the late December. Because I am not going to damn Kansas City to freeze my choo-choos off. On
at Arrowhead.
Friday.
Yeah, I don't blame
Talking
you.
about Black Friday, my balls would be black from all of the pain, for the freezing. Okay, although it would be nice to see the Raiders play the Chiefs and beat them there. Okay, that's the only win and the Tampa win that I really, 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 really want to see. I just want to see improvement. And I want
Yeah,
to
I'd
see,
like to
because
see that too.
Peggy and I had, and I'm sorry I'm walking under there, Ref, but Miss Peggy and I had this big conversation. It's like, does Antonio Pierce survive the season to go into next season? Because she said that his decision as to who the offensive coordinator will be, not this interim crap with Scott Turner, that's the best and most important decision he's going to have to make. And I said, if he's allowed to make it, I agree with you, Peggy. I agree with you. She's got a lot of insight. The problem is, and she's saying, will they throw AP out with the bathwater? I don't know. The Raiders have a history of when
doing
they're
that.
enamored with somebody,
Yeah.
they'll throw that guy out. So we'll see. But if AP does get the chance to make that decision, that will be the most important decision he has to make, because the defense is pretty much in good hands. Okay. And if Graham stays, and because that's the other question, will Graham stay? Okay. They need a damn offensive coordinator that'll be a great person to have in there. Guys out there. We were talking, Byron Leftwich is out there. Eric Bieniemy is out there. Brian Johnson, not the lead singer for AC/DC, but the other Brian Johnson. I shook the thrill. Play the kid. No, that guy. That's the AC/DC guy. But there are plenty of guys that are out there. Plus, Lincoln Riley might not be enamored with staying at USC, and maybe
probation.
maybe he would come to be the OC. He wants to be a head coach, but maybe they can entice him and say, "Come on over here, be an OC." And then get back into the NFL that way. I'm just saying. There's lots of things.
There's lots of things. Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, V.
Well, for the sake of continuity, and this is an argument on both sides of the fence, we can't keep changing our head coach every other season. We start over every time that happens. So we need to get something that rolls, and damn it, roll it forward. Everybody pushing. That's what we need.
I agree with it. I think I would be encouraged if I heard what I wanted to hear out of the coaching staff. We need to fix this. We're not good here. We're not scoring enough points. We're not running the ball. We understand we have offensive line issues. We're doing the best we can with what we've got. We may need to make adjustments. I don't hear any of that. It's like they don't have a
acknowledge
clue. Yeah. And it's like they don't have a clue what's going on. And that's what's frustrating, because you have to ask yourself do they even recognize what their problems are? And if they don't, get them the hell out of there. If they do, and they come forward like Gruden did in 99 before, 97, 98, I was like, he doesn't seem to be addressing the issues. And then all of a sudden he did. He got Gannon. He got a few other things. He got Jerry Rice. They did some things that they needed to do. And you're like, okay, they get it. They understand what areas that they need to address. I'm not hearing that. Until I hear that, I don't have faith in the coaching staff. And I agree with you that every time you change it, you want to start over. But in the interview process, I want somebody to come in and says, here's where your problem's here, and this is what I'm going to do to fix it. Okay. I either agree with that or I don't. If I agree with it, you're in. If I don't, I'll find somebody else, so to speak. But that's what frustrates me, Wayne, is I'm not hearing anybody inside talk about what we think the problems are, is as if they don't recognize what the problems are. And if they don't, that's a problem. If they do and they're not saying,
yeah, that's a different story.
A little bit different story. But then you have to wonder, well, why can't they acknowledge that? It's like, are they trying to keep it a secret by not acknowledging it because they don't want the word to get out? Dude, this is pro football. Everybody else out there knows what the problems are. So there's no reason why you can't go out there and say it, because everybody else has already figured it out. Not saying it, or not saying the quiet part out loud, because you're afraid it's all of a sudden going to tell everybody what your dirty laundry is. Dude, they've already figured it out. You're 2-7 for Christ's sake.
That dirty laundry is up the flagpole.
Well, I know, but my point is that if they either need to, I don't know. So until they start acknowledging it, I think that's a problem. And again, if they do know what it is and they're not saying, why aren't you saying it? It's not like everybody else doesn't already know what it is. We're not even coaches in the NFL. We know what the problems are. You can't tell me that Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Kansas City, Denver, everybody else doesn't know what it is. They have a lot more experience in all this than we do. They're looking at one. You can pick any tape out of our entire season and go, okay, I know how to beat you. You can't take any one tape from the Chiefs and figure out how to beat them. You got to have them all. and then some. You got, they're gonna pull this play out of 1967. They're gonna run Ring Around the Rosie. How many library books do you got to check out to beat the Chiefs? I don't know. How many library books you got to pick out to beat the Raiders? 1.5, maybe
Shit.
2.
You can get the clip. You can get
The cliff notes. But that's my point. So until they start acknowledging that, I agree with you, Wayne. Every time you make a change, you got to start over. But I'm starting over until somebody tells me what I want to hear, so to speak.
Gotcha. Point
So,
taken.
Anyway,
Ed had
that's
a good
my
point
rant.
there. He says Davis is paying $74 million a year on head coaches, and that's going to continue every time you flip the pillow.
I could go 2-7 for $74 million. I'd do it for $70 million. Hell, I'll
do it for $7 million.
Yeah, I'll do it for $3.5 million. I tell you
I'll
what,
do
I'll
it
make.
for $2 million.
I'll stay it right here.
I'll lower you, and
No, you won't.
That sounds like a fire sale. That sounds like a fire sale right there.
Here's how it's going to work, Mark Davis. Here's how it's going to work, Mark Davis. You hire me as your head coach of the Raiders, and you pay me when we win. If we don't win, I don't get paid.
Damn.
And I'm ready to start tomorrow. But I'm going to pull.
That's a hell of a resume, right there.
I'm going to pull a Bill Parcells on you. If I'm going to do the cooking, I'm going to shop for the groceries.
Shop for the groceries.
So, but if you want to win, I'll make you a winner. But you don't pay me unless we win. And I'm ready to go tomorrow. So
I'll pay for that.
That's a mic drop right there.
Yeah, Hollywood was saying that I was going to move to Vegas. I said no, but if they offer me a job, or if I'm on your staff, Ref, I'll come to Vegas. I'll come to Vegas.
You know what? We should have a show of who would be on our staff if we got hired. Anyway,
we can work on that.
One political note, because we're talking about staffs. My former boss, Mike Waltz, is slated to be he's defense.
Yeah.
And he used to be my boss, because he was in charge of Metis, which was a company. When he went and got into into the House of Representatives, he had to divest himself of the company. So he was a representative in the state of Florida, and now he's going to be on the staff of the incumbent president. So I said, hey, I used to work for that guy. So this is another Trump administration where I said, hey, I used to work for that guy, Mike Flynn. I used to work for. So I think it's pretty cool. But we'll go back to your staff of the. I'll do anything, just as long as I can get paid.
Yeah, copy that. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our Week 11 show. We'll be back next week with Week 12. Better start getting out those turducken recipes, because after that, we're going to turn the corner to Thanksgiving.
Yes,
and then all hell's going to break loose for the run in the playoffs. We're going to get a little taste of what's going on with Buffalo and Kansas City, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, maybe Cincinnati, LA Chargers for a wild card spot. We'll see what the Dolphins can do with the games that they have left. So it's going to get interesting. Get your popcorn ready. And we'll be back next week for Week 12. Until then.
I did it. I knew you were waiting for me, you bastard. I did it.
I was for sure. Give us one more to go. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go, Raiders. Let's see some friggin' life in you. Ah!
I love it. What he said.
Okay, sure. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Let's go, Raiders.